Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 25,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live sessions when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't the right fit for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at a more affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/thebarn. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/thebarn.
Hello, my name is Jason Lowry.
And I'm Mark Toti.
And this is the Parkland Podcast.
Thank you for being here again, and thank you for all the comments, the compliments, everything, all the positive things that have been said about us. We really appreciate it.
Coming up on the show today, bear hysteria is gripping the county as there have been multiple bear sightings with pictures in different communities all throughout St. Francis County. The heat is here, Parkland bracing for 100-degree temperatures in the forecast. The St. Francis County Commission is dropping the company whose equipment failed, causing the loss of access to 30 years of county police records, and the latest involving the city of Deloge and embattled Mayor Pete Pasternak. Plus, we'll talk to St. Francis County Sheriff candidate Jeff Kreitz and organizers of the Sauces and Shows, Wings and Wheels, and the final Firecracker Run happening this weekend in downtown Park Hills. All this and more coming up now on the Parkland Podcast. Mark, we couldn't do this without our great sponsors, and we want to give them a quick mention before we get into our show. Parkland Pharmacy, with locations all throughout the area, Farmington, Deloge, in Greenville, and Piedmont, and more. Nicholson Heating and Air, call Nicholson.com. They're in Farmington. Brand new to the show this week. I know you're excited about this. Subways of the Parkland.
In fact, as of recording this podcast this morning, I was at Subway in Farmington just a couple of hours ago. I got to send a shout out to my girls, Brianna and Heather and Jessica and Courtney. Absolutely love those girls. Mike and Jake, you did wonderful when you brought those girls on board. Thank you, Subway, Mike and Jake.
Yeah.
All your locations, we do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And also want to give a nod of approval again to E&A Collectibles in the factory in Farmington and Jerry's Fireworks. In fact, during the Parkland podcast today, the world premiere of the Jerry's Fireworks wrap commercial for 2024 will occur.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's all coming up on the Parkland podcast. First, I want to talk about your retirement party. This was an event put together by Candy Henty and Kim Long to celebrate your radio retirement. It happened this past Saturday night at Spokes Pub and Grill in Farmington, and oh my gosh, what a great crowd.
It was a great crowd, a wonderful turnout. Thank you to everybody who showed up. Thank you to the Pasta House. Thank you to Chip and Debbie Peterson. They brought in food as well from Qdoba and Steak and Shake. The only bad part is I didn't get any of the Steak and Shake. They brought in like 50 steak burgers, I think, and it's like I looked up and they were gone.
Yeah.
Subway brought some food in as well. Spokes Pub and Grill agreed to host it back in their banquet room. I had family coming in from Illinois, from St. Charles, from O'Fallon, and people I hadn't seen in years were there. It was very heartwarming.
It was a lot of special things happened, including a special proclamation. Let's watch that video now, courtesy of our local state representatives, Mike Henderson and Dale Wright.
Myself, and signed by the Speaker of the House, would like to present you with this resolution from the Missouri House of Representatives. I'll read a few of the things. Whereas members of the Missouri House of Representatives proudly pause to recognize Mark Toti, treasured resident of Farmington, Missouri, who has commended for his is committed for his 40 years of exceptional service at KTJJ, KREI, the Boot. Whereas, known as the voice of Farmington, Mark Toti has greatly enjoyed serving the Farmington family on the radio for 4 decades.
Started when I was 7.
Earning the city's prestigious Distinguished Citizen of the Year award. Whereas a native of St. Louis, Mark Toti dutifully served his country in the United States Navy before attending the Broadcast Center in St. Louis for his radio training. Whereas Mark Toti has compiled an enviable list of service to the Farmington community through his support of the United Way, St. Paul Lutheran Church, whereas he has raised money for the school through annual dinner auctions. I'll go on and on and on. Anyway, we, on behalf of the Missouri House of Representatives, we would like to present this to you, Mark, for your dedicated service to our community. Thank you.
I'll say one thing. I found out in Jeff City, most people don't have people like him up there that's on the voice of the Parkland, and people get to knowing him every day, and they trust him and do those things. It's so rare around the state. I'm going to tell you right now, that's not something that's everywhere. Thank you.
I just want to say, he would interview me, and if I didn't know the answer, he'd answer it for me. I want to thank you for these easy interviewers. Thank you.
Thank you all very much, and I got to tell you, this is a wonderful award. I'm not sure I deserve it, but thank you. And nothing beats giving an award like this while listening to Ted Nugent sing Stranglehold. Thank you guys very much. Everybody enjoy your time.
That was pretty cool. Were you expecting that?
It's quite an honor.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I'd never have done anything for the recognition in my career. I don't want people to say, Mark Toti is this. I'd rather give the credit to somebody else, but it sure is nice when somebody does something like that, and very appreciated.
Yeah. Did you see anybody like that totally surprised you? I know we don't want to, there were so many people there. There's probably people that you talked to that you might not even remember talking to, but were there anybody there that surprised you that they showed up?
There were a few people there that I had to have some help with names on. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to send a special shout out to Tanya Fast. She came all the way from Moberly.
All right.
For this. And my buddy Al Mingy and his wife Peggy came in. I saw Peggy a couple of months ago somewhere, but before that hadn't seen her in years. And Al, I don't think I've seen in at least 5 years, but it was great to see them again.
Great. It was awesome. What a great time. And again, special thanks to Spokes for hosting the event and providing some of the food. And as you mentioned, Qdoba, Steak and Shake, Subway, the Pasta House. And it was all good.
Yeah. If you came to my retirement party expecting to start your diet, you probably had to wait a day.
Sorry about that.
And I actually stayed awake past 9 o'clock.
Wow.
That doesn't happen very often.
Might have had a little caffeine earlier in the day, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. It was a great party.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that so many people showed up to recognize you. All right, let's talk elections. And we started something on our Facebook page this week, and we always encourage you to be a liker and follower of the Parkland Podcast on Facebook. We're doing polls. Our first poll was about what is the biggest issue in this year's St. Francis County Sheriff's race, and bam, right neck and neck are the homeless population and the county jail. Those seem to be the two biggest areas of concern from the residents.
Those were the two big ones, but there were other ones there. I know a couple of folks mentioned accountability as one of their concerns.
Absolutely. Vehicles, equipment, things like that. So we're always interested in those polls, what you have to say, and we'll be dropping those weekly. We also started a comment kind of thread, if you will, and that came with a great giveaway from Parkland Pharmacy. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but it was who's the most famous person from St. Francis County? And Mark, you got a lot of votes.
I must owe a lot of people money.
Yeah, I guess so. But we'll talk about some of those results and again give away one of those skinny syrups courtesy of Parkland Pharmacy a little bit later on in the show. We're teaming up with the Deloge Chamber of Commerce on July the 15th. They have an event coming called Pancakes with the Candidates. And so this is going to happen at the Deloge Chamber office there on Lincoln Street on that Friday. And it starts, I believe, at 7 o'clock in the morning. All the candidates for all the races are invited to attend. They'll be making pancakes. They'll be answering your questions. And then when they have some time, they'll be talking to the Parkland podcast.
A politician that wants to feed you. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take that anytime. So big thanks to Sherry Henderson and the Deloge Chamber of Commerce for reaching out, because Mark and I, we had this conversation, I think, last week. How are we going to get to all these candidates and get them
on a weekly show? It couldn't happen without this.
So this is great, and it's going to allow us to make sure that we cover all the rest of the races as well. So look for that election podcast coming after that event, which is on July 15th. Then we have our election night coverage coming from the building on Weber Road in Farmington, as we will have election night returns on August 6th. Really looking forward to this event. It's going to be a Facebook Live on our Parkland podcast Facebook page, so that's where you'll be able to see it. Mark and I will be talking about the returns. We'll be visiting with the candidates. Pretty much all of them are going to be there that night, and we might have a few surprises for you as we roll along.
Yeah, a couple special guests joining us.
Special guests, and you never know what's going to happen on election night. Give me a quick, weird, wild election night story. Maybe one of those nights where you didn't get much sleep the next day.
Well, I tell you, the one that really sticks out for me goes back almost 30 years. I was at the St. Francis County Courthouse doing election returns. It was around 10 or 10:30 at night when the county clerk comes in. I can't remember if it was Arthur Holsey at the time or Mark Hedrick, but he says, "Our equipment is broke down. We've got to go to Perry County to get another one." So, luckily, they sent somebody from St. Francis County towards Perryville and somebody from Perryville towards Farmington, and they met somewhere in the middle around St. Genevieve, had to come back, bring the equipment back, hook it up. It was probably 1:30 or 2 before I got done doing election returns from that particular election, and I had to be at work at 5 in the morning.
Just might as well stay up at that point.
I took a real quick power nap.
Wow. Hopefully that does not happen that night. Totally awesome radio story. This is one of our most popular segments. People love to hear awesome Mark Toti radio stories.
We'll talk severe weather. It was one of our signature calling cards at J98. When there was severe weather, we were there. We were on location. We were at the studios tracking storms, telling you where they're at, where they are going, and how bad things have gotten or will get. So this is about midnight one night, or should I say one morning? I don't know. But anyway, it was about midnight, and we get a call from Jefferson County. And I said, "Hi, you're on the air with Good Neighbor Programming. Tell us about your situation." And the guy was really calm, really cool, really collected. He goes, "Well, I've got some damage to my roof. Part of my house is blowing off. Got some trees down in the front yard, but my family's okay. I'm okay. We're all safe." And I'm thinking, this guy's handling it very well. Then out of the middle of nowhere, I hear, "My dog! Oh my gosh, my dog! Somebody go get my dog!" Now think about that for a second. He's okay with part of his house being destroyed. He's okay with trees coming down. He's okay with all this damage. But by golly, if something happens to his dog,
oh my,
the world has come to an end. Sounds like one of our Trading Post callers.
Oh my, yes. Those will be popping up, I'm sure, very soon on the Totally Awesome radio story. That reminds me of one real quickly. Same deal. Good Neighbor neighbor programming, a staple of the Shepherd Group of radio stations. Yes. Ryan McLean is on the air doing coverage. I'm on my way to Bonne Terre. They'd had a couple of trees down and power outages. I mean, there was definitely something to go do a report on. So I hop in the red 98 van, head to Farmington, and head to Bonne Terre, and I'm listening to J98, and Ryan's taking calls, and he gets a call from somebody. Goes, hey, this is Dave calling from College Park in Park Hills, and again, like your other caller, very calm, very collective. There's a few limbs down. It looks like the trash cans are blown over, but overall, everything looks really safe here at the college. And then the guy goes, but if there was a tornado, I hope it hits Charles's house, because Charles is a bitch, and hung up. Live on the air, baby.
You can't beat live radio.
Those are totally awesome radio stories. Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy now has changed their name to Parkland Pharmacy, and they are ready to take care of you at Parkland Pharmacy. They know how to do local pharmacy at its finest. 6 locations in Southeast Missouri: Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, Piedmont, and Greenville. And they are the premier sponsor of this year's Firecracker Run, hosted by the Park Hills Livingston Chamber of Commerce, which we are going to talk about later on in the show. Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy serves both of our pharmaceutical needs, and man, their service and their expertise is number one.
Love Julie Berghaus. Love that whole staff. They greet me by name when I come in, and I just think that's really awesome, because if you're going into a pharmacy, it's not usually a good thing, because you're there to get medicine to make you feel better, but they will make you feel right at home when you go in and visit with them. And they do deliver, by the way. They do have a delivery service, and they will answer all your questions. And something else they do at Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy that I think is really cool, they have a local section, and it changes the products that they offer there, but they'll have salsas there sometimes, jellies, all made by local people that they will offer up for sale.
Very good. So check that out, Parkland Pharmacy, local pharmacy at its finest. And Subway of the Parkland, sponsoring the Parkland podcast. That's their locations in Farmington and the Maple Valley, Park Hills in their downtown location, and then, of course, the Subway in Deloge Walmart. New to Subway, the new dippers are available with cheese, chicken, or pepperoni for only $3. These are in addition to the new sidekicks, which consist of the foot-long churro, the foot-long pretzel, which is fantastic, and the foot-long cookie. Subway, eat fresh. I know you are very excited to talk about this fine locally owned business.
Absolutely, and not just about the wonderful food, but it goes back to what we said before, the people there. And it starts with Mike and Jake. If there's an event going on, you know that they're going to support it. They are involved in everything. I know Jake's very active in the Catholic Church. I see him at I'm sure with the St. Joe Parish Picnic, which is coming up, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But they get involved in the community, and the girls that I mentioned earlier on, I don't know how else to say it, but they're just simply amazing and wonderful. So I just want to go in there and hang out with Heather and Jessica and Brianna and Courtney, but I get the food too because it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. Again, that's Subway of the Parkland in the Maple Valley Center, Farmington, downtown Park Hills, and at the Deloge Walmart Supercenter. Subway sponsoring the Parkland podcast.
Imagine a home where every season feels just right. At Nicholson Heating and Air in Farmington, we turn that dream into your everyday reality. From frosty winters to sizzling summers, our expert team ensures your home stays perfect. Plus, with our easy financing options, comfort is more affordable than ever. Don't wait. Visit callnicholson.com or stop by our Farmington location today. Nicholson Heating and Air, where your comfort is our command.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long, or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Time for news now on the Parkland Podcast. News brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air. Fast, reliable, and transparent. That's the Nicholson way. Schedule anytime, anywhere online at callnicholson.com. 756-3599. No dispatch fees. Home of the 1-hour appointment. That's Nicholson Heating and Air. Bear hysteria gripping the Parkland as over 6 sightings have been made this week. Last Thursday morning, a bear was seen and photographed near the Big River Hills area near Bonne Terre. Then Thursday night, another was spotted and photographed near Farmington, close to D Highway. You can always report bear sightings at the Missouri Department of Conservation's website. You almost ran over the bear in Farmington on Thursday, right?
Well, maybe not quite technically ran over it, but I was on the same road because I saw the pictures on social media. And I was there Thursday about 4:45 or so, because I recognized the for sale sign there in front of one of those houses, and it's like, that's exactly where I was when that happened. So pretty amazing. We hear about bears. We're thinking further south, maybe around Lesterville, Annapolis, places like that.
Yeah.
But nope, they're right here in St. Francis County.
They're making their rounds. St. Francis County Commission is ending their contract with Motorola Solutions and the Spielman Company. That's the company that provided the Sheriff's Department the servers that failed on April 9th. During this week's St. Francis County Commission meeting, it was announced that a certified letter was mailed on June 10th to the company, giving them official notice of the termination of the contract. The letter states that on April 9th of 2024, your system experienced a catastrophic failure of the storage system, server, and backup, with the resultant loss of 30 years of stored files and information. There's been little offer of assistance from you to help recover this data, while we've spent tens of thousands of dollars attempting to recover the data to some form of usable state. To date, we have not been able to do so. All files will now have to be entered manually to start a new set of data. And that was a direct quote from Harold Gallagher, the presiding commissioner of St. Francis County. And that situation is going to continue to hamper the county government for a while.
And that is a load of work if they're going to have to do all that manually.
Yeah, but at least it's still there to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, because if they were just completely gone, that would just been horrible. City of Deloge update. A motion to proceed with impeachment was made at the June meeting impeachment process of the mayor, Pete Pasternak. Now, I spoke to Stephanie Daffron. She's the city administrator for the city of Deloge. She says the next process will be for the city to hire a prosecuting attorney who would work with the city to create the articles of impeachment. The city will also have to hire a judge to serve over the proceedings. The Board of Aldermen would act as the jury, and the hearing would be open to the public. The impeachment process will continue at the next regular Deloge City Council meeting, which is July 8th. As of right now, Pete Pasternak still the acting mayor in the city of Deloge.
They offered him the opportunity to resign, and he said, no, I will not do that.
Yes, so that's where that stands, and that process will continue in the city of Deloge. Let's talk heat. It's official. Summer's here, and temperatures are on the rise. The National Weather Service forecasting highs near 100 as we start the week. We always would talk about ways to stay cool. This was always a point of emphasis every summer. The wear light clothing. Obviously, hydration. That's number one. Make sure you got a lot of water in you, and that gives us a great chance to give a little free plug here to LaRue Water.
Thank you, Becky Petty.
Yeah,
the
Becky.
best.
So Becky says drink lots of water, and obviously if you're getting out, get out early, get out late. Try not to do, if you can, anything during the middle of the day.
Limit your time outdoors and check on your neighbors.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a senior citizen living next door to you who does not get a lot of company, maybe you're not sure how good the air conditioning is in their house. Check on them, knock on the door, make sure they're all right.
Very good. So that's happening this week as summer's officially here. last Thursday, Farmington Chamber of Commerce met, and a lot was discussed in the meeting, and I understand that Farmington's going to help out one of their neighboring communities.
Yeah, the big thing was State Representative Dale Wright and State Representative Mike Henderson were there, and they were talking about the things that did happen and didn't happen last session, and some of the things they expect to be discussed this coming session. But they also noted that the city of Farmington is going to donate a police car to Iron Mountain Lake. They're trying to revamp that particular community, and the St. Francis County Sheriff's Department is going to help outfit that vehicle as well, and they're going to be trying to do more improvements as time goes on. Another thing that they mentioned was where Missouri ranks in the nation in terms of the best states, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing. Missouri ranks 35th out of 50 states, and it's really not surprising when you hear some of the things that are dragging Missouri down. We rank 45th in terms of crime, and I'm not sure that surprises anybody. We also rank 45th in healthcare, which did kind of surprise me a little bit. We also rank number 34 in infrastructure. But there were some good things there. We rank 17th in the nation in terms of natural environment, and all you have to do is throw a rock, you'll hit a state park in southeast Missouri. And as far as opportunity goes, Missouri ranks 15th in the nation. We rank 25th in economy. So a little good, a little bad, but definitely some areas of improvement.
Well, we appreciate that information from Mike Henderson and Dale Wright at the Farmington Regional Chamber of Commerce meeting. And a little education news to sprinkle in for you. Derek Eves returning to Farmington High School. The mid-90s graduate went to Fredericktown and had been an assistant principal there with our good buddy Craig Gibbs, and now he's back at Farmington as an assistant principal to start off next year. So I guess hello, boss. Looking forward to working with you.
Yeah, spent a whole lot of years at Farmington before he went to Fredericktown. He was either the athletic director or the assistant athletic director back in the day. I know we did a lot of interviews with him, and then he went to Fredericktown, like you said, and now he's coming back to his hometown.
Yeah, coming back to Farmington, and I wonder how fast he is. Back in the day, he was one of the fastest dudes in the MAAA.
I think you could take him.
Hey, you think I can?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to race Derek Eves, and I'm going to play one-on-one basketball with Brandon McIntyre, and that's how I will assert myself.
Then we call 911.
Yes. Tell Officer Weekly to be ready. He might have an emergency and Nurse Roth, no doubt about it. That is your news, brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air, and keep an eye on our Facebook page for more news as it becomes available.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Birthdays, anniversaries, brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air. Fast, reliable, and transparent. That's the Nicholson way. Schedule anytime, anywhere online at callnicholson.com. A couple of belated birthdays to give you before we start rolling. Dan and Betty Combs, 50 years of wedding bliss, celebrated this past weekend on June 22nd. Do you think Dan took her out for a pizza?
I think he may have had to spring for something a little more substantial than a pizza, but I will tell you this. I will guarantee you that if you go to the Farmington Civic Center around 7 o'clock in the morning, most any morning, you will see Betty Combs there doing her usual hour to, and I'm not exaggerating here, hour to hour and a half on the elliptical machine. Dan's been coming in and he's been walking around the track, but Dan, you are no Betty Combs when it comes to exercising, but they are great people.
Absolutely. Congratulations, you both, and happy belated anniversary. And one more real quick one. Charles Hubbard, born on June 18th to Brandon and Stephanie Hubbard, and their first child, and the family is just through the roof elated with this.
I am so excited for those two. They've waited a long time for this, and Brandon such a good guy, and he was such a big help to all of the local media when I came to being mayor of Bonne Terre, and then some of the economic development work he and his family is doing in the Bonne Terre area. And his wife is just one of the nicest people you will ever want to meet.
I see her every day lurking in the weeds. She's got that billboard on 67 just north of Deloge, and she's got it back. Oh, there's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. So congratulations, you two. Hope it's great for you.
And welcome, Charles.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us about your birthdays you have for Monday, June 24th.
Well, I have to start off with Katie Orr. We're talking about sweet people, nice people. Katie Orr is 21. She has done so much in the last 5 or 6 years, especially in terms of the theater. We plan on having her on this podcast so she can talk about some of the trips she's made. I think she's been to New York. I know that. And she's been on stage in New York. And she came back from either Korea or somewhere. She was somewhere performing with a theater group, but she's been all over the place. So, Katie, you've done more in 21 years than I have in some odd years. So, happy birthday wishes to you. Happy birthday wishes to Andy Buchanan, First State Community Bank. Heck of a good guy. His wife has the Pink Penguin Project, which raises money to help ladies with breast cancer. So, Andy, happy birthday wishes to you. And an old friend of mine who's not all that old, Tawana Ward.
Tawana Ward.
Celebrating a birthday on Monday.
She's in Arizona right now?
Yeah, with JJ.
With JJ. Good old JJ. Tawana, and oh man, that's fantastic. Happy birthday to her. A couple I have for Monday. Phyllis Ward, retired Unitech teacher. Happy birthday, Mrs. Ward. She was the computer networking teacher for a long time. Also still there, the legendary Billy Smith, Unitech teacher, race car driver. His son Zane taking over the family moniker there. Love you, Billy. Miss working with you, man. You're an awesome dude. And Tracy Burns of Bonne Terre celebrating a birthday on Monday. Happy birthday to Tracy.
How about some Tuesday birthdays? Emily Brandenburg celebrates a birthday on Tuesday. Her sister used to work at the radio station for several years, and I got to know Emily through her. She's awesome. Emily, happy birthday wishes to you. Craig Gibbs, the man, the myth, the legend. I remember interviewing Craig Gibbs when he was a freshman in high school. Farmington played Bismarck in high school baseball. Craig came on. He was, I think, a second baseman. I'm not 100% sure on that, but
he's got a second baseman's build.
Yes, he does. He's got a Tommy Herr kind of build. But anyway, he came on as a relief pitcher in extra innings and got the win for Farmington. That's going back quite a ways. Dwayne Lindsay goes to my church. Dwayne, happy birthday to you from your wife and your kids. April Sarakas, who does amazing work in organizing the Madison Iron County Relay for Life year after year after year. She's great with that. Happy birthday to you. Ashley Davis, the pride and joy of Parkland Health Center in Farmington. Happy birthday to you from your hospital family. And Briley Palmer,
head coach of the SEMO Lady Redhawks.
Yeah, former, I believe, Dream Team member from the radio station, and just a great mom and a great wife.
Yeah, went to the Final Four with Farmington High School, one of those Final Four teams. Yeah, no kidding.
I saw Natalie Sago this past Thursday night. She was in town visiting with her family, and I know she caught up with Briley because those two are two peas in a pod.
Absolutely. So happy birthday, Briley. Also, Farmington High School math teacher Scott Koitzer with a birthday on Tuesday. Happy birthday, Mr. Koitzer. How about Wednesday, June 26th?
Hey, Dana Oster. She is a wonderful gal. I've known her for years. She works at the Farmington Presbyterian Manor. She has the misfortune of having Rooster as her brother.
Oh, Rooster, huh?
Just kidding, Rooster. Just kidding. You're a good dude. Dana is awesome. Mindy Cole celebrates a birthday on Wednesday. Happy birthday to you. And Keely Williamson celebrating a birthday on Wednesday. She is one in shape lady.
Happy birthday on Wednesday to Heath Husky. He's the CEO of M&A Products in Bonne Terre. Julie Poley, Deloge Parks Recreation Director. One of these days, we'll get Brandon Geiler on the air to tell a story about him and Dooley doing a broadcast from the Central Homecoming Parade in downtown Park Hills. Do you know where that story's going?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Dooley. And Rick Whaley, retired local EMT with a birthday on Wednesday.
Thursday birthdays. I got to start off with Mia.
Okay.
She is awesome.
Absolutely.
Mia Gowan. I met her when she was 17 or 18, and she worked at Buffalo Wild Wings when Buffalo Wild Wings first opened up. And I said, who is this crazy girl? And I realized that's no act. She is just a free spirit, one of a kind, but I have just learned to love her. So
yeah, Mia Gowan, happy birthday at Butterfield Florist. Who else you got?
Well, also I want to say happy birthday to Sarah Dement.
Yes.
Sarah did a whole lot of work with the St. Francis County Relay for Life back in the day, and we became very good friends, and we would hang out a little bit. She is just awesome, so happy birthday to you. I've known her since her son was just a small guy, and now I think he's graduated from college and out in the workforce, so I've known her for a while. And Sarah Kerr, happy birthday to you. She goes to my church, St. Paul Lutheran Church in Farmington. Her daughter, Aviana, I started recruiting little kids to be ushers at church, and she was one of the first ones that I gathered in to be an usher, and now she's kind of taken it over as her sole responsibility. So Sarah, you're wonderful. Your family's wonderful. You have great kids as well. Happy birthday to you.
John Kennedy, retired Park Hills City Administrator, enjoying a birthday on Thursday as well. Always enjoyed talking to John at the radio station, and he was always up for making, President John Kennedy puns about himself.
I remember some of those, yes. Friday birthdays, Kim Vogt. I used to go hiking with Kim and her daughters back in the day. Kim, happy birthday. She's the one. A lot of people know the story of the chair.
Yes.
At St. Joe State Park. It went missing for a while, about a month or so, and I had given it up as lost. And then Kim texts me or Facebooks me one day and says, your chair is back. I'm like, oh, you're kidding me.
Huh?
So I went out the next day, and there it was. So, Kim, thank you for letting me know that, and happy birthday to you on Friday. Happy birthday to Nani, Norman, and Nani. I just wish you the best on your birthday. That's all I'm going to say about that. Bethany Zarcone, happy birthday to you from your mom, Candy.
Yes.
At the chamber, and all your friends, your sisters. Tish Roberts, happy birthday to you, young lady. And happy birthday wishes going out to my old buddy, and I'm going to emphasize old. I hear he was around when Moses was a kid. I would say he's older than dirt, but what do I have against dirt? Kevin DeBrecht, happy birthday wishes to you coming up this Friday.
Also want to wish a happy birthday on Friday to my cousin, Linda Slick Polite. She is the Slick One. She's the keeper of all the Lowry family records, and just a great lady. So her and Dooley with birthdays, just 2 days apart. So hope you guys enjoy your weekend.
Saturday birthdays, I know we both want to wish a happy birthday to Charlie Berry.
Yeah, Charlie Berry. Did you know that Chuck Berry's sister used to live in downtown Deloge?
Did not know that.
Yeah. Charlie Berry's sister.
Did they hang out? Oh, okay.
Okay. He likes that joke. He tells it a lot.
Well, of course. The Music Man, Charlie Berry, celebrating a birthday Saturday. Brian Larimore, happy birthday wishes to you. He's an insurance guy. Used to be a banker for a number of years.
Now he's Shelter.
Yes, Shelter Insurance. Larry McCormick, longtime pilot in the area. He has tried, unsuccessfully, I might add, he has tried for about 25 years to get me to go on a plane ride at Country Days with him. Still hasn't been able to talk me into it.
That was the coolest remote, the plane remote.
Did you ever do it?
I never did. Brandon Geiler seemed to get it every year during my era. I remember Tim Ryan doing it. I think Luke did it one year, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was always super cool.
Yeah, I know one time they did a live broadcast. They did live broadcasts from Country Days in the plane while it was in the air. They flew over my house back in the day when I lived out in the country off Old Fredericktown Road, and I was listening on my way home, and they said, yeah, we're over by Mark Tody's house right now. He's a coward, by the way. I said, yeah, but I'm the coward, both feet on the ground.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I want to say happy birthday to Tim Bresnahan. Tim's a great guy. His brother, Vince Bresnahan, has been one of my best friends, if not my best friend, since we were 13 years old in school together.
Wow, that's awesome. Also celebrating a birthday on Saturday, Darren Welch, everybody's favorite Miller man and friend to all. Happy birthday, Darren. I hope you have a great day Saturday.
Just a couple of Sunday birthdays. Amy Crawford, happy birthday wishes to you Sunday. She's pretty cool. Mark Stone, he's married to a girl named Ginger. So when it comes to that age-old debate of Ginger or Marianne with Mark, it's Ginger every time. And Peyton Gallagher, happy birthday to you, young lady. I know her mom and dad really well, and Peyton is a sweetheart. She worked for a bunch of years at Coljack's in downtown Farmington, and I'd go in there and get a cup of coffee, but I was really just there to see her and the other girls that worked there because they were wonderful people.
Fantastic. There you go. Those are your birthdays and anniversaries. Brought to you by Nicholson Heating and Air. Fast, reliable, and transparent. That's the Nicholson way. Let's look at the events now happening around the Parkland here on the Parkland podcast. And coming up a little bit later on in the podcast, we're going to get the full on about what's happening in downtown Park Hills this weekend. Sauces and shows, wings and wheels, and the final Firecracker run happening Friday night and Saturday in downtown Park Hills. Tammy Coleman and Brenda Jordan will join us to tell us all about that.
Should be a great time. It always is. And another event that I absolutely love, I go to every year, is the St. Joe Parish Picnic.
That's happening both on Saturday and Sunday. On Saturday, enjoy a free concert by Midnight Train at 6:30. And then you have the very diverse food booths. St. Joe Catholic Church in Farmington has a very diverse congregation. And that always allows us to do some really neat stuff with this event. Authentic Hispanic, Filipino, and barbecue food booths. And the Filipino food is really, really good. I mean, you know, the Hispanic's good too, but the Filipino food, wow.
The thing I like best about the St. Joe Parish Picnic, the food is fantastic, don't get me wrong. But I also love, that it seems like everybody from the church, and that's where you go to church, by the way, the church is involved in this, and everybody is friendly and inviting. And it's kind of like a homecoming, because people, kind of like my retirement party we talked about earlier on, people come from everywhere, and it's people you haven't seen in a long time, and it's great just to get together and share memories.
Sunday, the all-you-can-eat fried chicken and kettle beef dinners. Oh, my goodness. Those start at 11 o'clock. Also, live entertainment on stage from noon to 5. There's kids' games, adult games, the raffle, the quilt raffle, flea market, silent auction, barbecue, food, and drinks available all day. That's this Saturday and Sunday at the St. Joseph Catholic Church in Farmington.
One of my favorite things also about St. Joe is when you go in and get something to eat on Sunday, I always look for my good friend Charlie Boyd, who is about 6'9".
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun because you look back in the kitchen, and I couldn't do this on the radio, but I can do it on the podcast, and you look at all the volunteers back there cooking, and it's like ding, 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 and you know which one's Charlie.
Yeah, you know that. So best of luck, and hopefully you can make it downtown Saturday and Sunday for that event. 4th of July celebrations coming up as well. Bonne Terre, Park Hills, Farmington, and Bismarck, all with displays and all with events happening around their displays, I believe.
This may not make for good podcasting, but I dropped my glasses, so I got bend down and pick them up.
That's okay. That's what he's doing. He's getting his glasses right now. But 4th of July celebrations happening in Bonne Terre, Park Hills, Farmington, and Bismarck. Park Hills takes place at the Sports Complex Bonne Terre in Bonne Terre City Park, Farmington in Engler Park, and Bismarck, all happening on the school grounds there at the Bismarck School District, and that's for the 4th of July.
I have a 21-year-old heart but a 66-year-old pair of eyes, so I gotta have these.
Do you have any events happening before Chautauqua that you want to throw out there?
Yes, I do want to mention our friends. Good morning or good afternoon, whichever time of day it is that you're listening. Emily, thank you for being a part of the podcast. Youth volleyball camp at the Farmington Civic Center coming up July 8th through the 12th. There's a Mineral Area Soccer Club camp coming up July 19th through the 20th. And the Ford X Youth Basketball Camp. Justin Ford, athletic director at St. Paul High School, putting that on. That's July 22nd through the 25th. If you want registration information, all you have to do is call the Civic Center.
7560900.
That's it.
I can't believe I still remember that. Chautauqua, July 25th through the 27th in Bonne Terre. This year's events include historical presenters of Dwight Eisenhower, Jackie Cochran, and Winston Churchill, all happening July 25th, 26th, 27th in Bonne Terre.
We have nothing to fear except fear itself.
There's a lot of things to be afraid of. So those are your local events happening around the area. Want to take a minute to talk about E&A Collectibles. They're at 200 West 1st Street in Farmington, and you can search E&A on Facebook. They're inside the factory. E&A Collectibles is Farmington's premier collectible store offering comics. Okay, I mispronounced this last time, and my son corrected me. Manga, toys, and so much more, conveniently located inside the factory on 200 West 1st Street. E&A Collectibles.
Ethan, thank you for being a part of our Parkland podcast. And I was not kidding last week when I said you can get lost in that store for an hour or two. And if you have some interesting trades, I bet you Ethan would talk to you about those as well. If you have something like an old toy from the 70s or 80s, he's pretty imaginative about what he'll take in. He's always looking for the new stuff, but he loves the old stuff too. So stop by, meet Ethan. He's a heck of a good guy, and find out all the hidden treasures at E&A Collectibles.
Did you have a favorite toy that you wish you still had in the box from your youth?
You know what I wish I still had from my youth are my old baseball cards.
Oh, yeah.
I would be a very wealthy man if I still had all the cards that I put on my tire of my bicycle or just threw away.
Yeah, I did that mostly with Royals and Cubs, so it was okay. E&A Collectibles, located in the factory in Farmington. And Jerry's Fireworks. They're the ones that make your 4th of July party work. That's part of the wrap, by the way.
I like that.
Yeah. For over 60 years, Jerry's has provided the area with beautiful displays, and they've helped make the memories of summer. Visit Jerry's this year at the Leadington Superstore, right at the Leadington exit. Uncle Sam says, shop Jerry's for the largest selection at the lowest price. Should have put my wig and hat on for that.
Jerry's Fireworks, they've been doing this now for years.
Yeah. Literally over 60 years, closing in on 70. And we appreciate Jerry's Fireworks sponsoring the Parkland podcast. Time for a break. When we come back, we're going to go outside. We're going to talk to Jeff Kreitz. He is running for St. Francis County Sheriff, and he'll be our guest next on the Parkland podcast.
Parkland Pharmacy is out to prove that local independent pharmacy is alive and well. We work hard at giving you an excellent experience every time you come to see us. We love what we do, and we would love to take care of you. There's no need to be frustrated with your health care. If you're tired of what your pharmacy is not doing for you, then stop waiting in line and come see us today. We have 6 locations across Southeast Missouri, so Google us to find the store nearest you or visit parklandrx.com. Parkland Pharmacy is a local pharmacy at its finest.
Imagine a home where every season feels just right. At Nicholson Heating and Air in Farmington, we turn that dream into your everyday reality. From frosty winters to sizzling summers, our expert team ensures your home stays perfect. Plus, with our easy financing options, comfort is more affordable than ever. Don't wait. Visit callnicholson.com or stop by our Farmington location today. Nicholson Heating and Air, where your comfort is our command.
We are on location at the Parkland podcast at Engler Park in Farmington as we continue coverage of election 2024 in the August primary, and we continue to work our way through the ballot and the candidates running for St. Francis County Sheriff. We have Jeff Kreitz with us today, joining Mark and I in beautiful Engler Park. Thanks for joining us and taking some time for us today.
Jason, thanks for having me, and you as well, Mark.
Well, Jeff, I guess the first question on everybody's mind is why now? What made you decide now's the time I want to be sheriff of St. Francis County?
Well, you can't change anything sitting on the sidelines, and I think it's time for a change. I've been with the city of Farmington for a lot of years, and I feel like I've served my community here in Farmington and St. Francis County, and I want to continue to serve St. Francis County, but in a different role.
Talk a little bit about your experience, and this is a common theme. All four of the candidates have a ton of experience, law enforcement in their family, and that's definitely the case with you.
Yes, I'm a third-generation career law enforcement officer. Both my grandfather and my father were career law enforcement officers, so I grew up sitting around the kitchen table hearing the stories from the deputies and the city police and the highway patrol, and I knew that's where my career path was going to go. And I've been a lifelong resident of St. Francis County here in Farmington, and got on with the police department as a part-time dispatcher, and earned my way up to the rank of lieutenant, and also assigned to the detective bureau. For 29 years I've been a detective, and of those 29 years I've been the supervisor 25 years over the detective bureau and supervising the detectives and other officers in the department.
Well, Jeff, at the very beginning you said it's time for a change. What are some things you think need changing in the department?
Well, I think the Sheriff's Department needs some policy, some procedures, and good best practices. I'd like to see some improvement for the road deputies, better equipment. I think we also need to give a better product back to the citizens. I think social media, podcasts, normal print media, the people need to know what the Sheriff's Department's doing, what we're working on, where there are problem areas in the county. So I want to improve that. I want to look at manpower and calls for service study to make sure that we have adequate personnel when and where in the county it needs to be. I also want to bring in some technology, body-worn cameras, in-car cameras, things of that nature. Also want to do maybe look at online reporting for some of the minor crimes, if we can get that up and running. Also, if you have a complaint on an officer, we need to know about it, or administration needs to know about it to correct that problem or correct that issue. Same with compliments. If you have an officer that's done something well or in the community, administration needs to know about that and tell that officer. And I think it's easier in our society today to do that through online and things of that nature.
These are great improvements. How are you going to be able to implement those within budget constraints of this department?
Well, that is an issue, but there are grants out there for things. I know we need to look at reinstituting the federal inmates to help offset the cost of operating the jail. We need to get some of those lawsuits that have plagued the jail a little bit, fix those problems. But yeah, we've got to cut some places and maybe move some things around and become more efficient. Just because, and me being an outsider, maybe a fresh perspective and a new set of eyes can find areas that, well, just because we're doing that last year, we're going to do it again this year. Well, maybe we don't need to do that. Maybe we can move some things around.
So, Jeff Kreitz, I hear this a lot, and I know if I hear this a lot, I know you're hearing this a lot. The homeless situation in Farmington, can we do anything about that?
I think we can. It's kind of the 800-pound gorilla in the room. You don't want to say anything about it because you don't want to be looked at as insensitive to people that are having some issues. But it's easy to say it's a law enforcement problem. It's a community problem, community-wide, not just law enforcement. Now, law enforcement does interact with these people quite often because of people calling. But I think you're going to have to get the different what's the word I'm looking for? Disciplines involved. Your social service organizations, your clergy, your faith-based organizations. It's going to take somebody to get all these people together, your business owners and the community. Get them together. Let's all talk. What can we do? The mental health is also, I think, involved in this too.
Right.
So if we can get them all together, and I would be willing to head that up, but get everybody together and what can they bring to the table, and where we're all talking, and then when we have an incident, it's a little easier than just one person, let's say law enforcement or one of these other organizations, to do it by themselves.
How has that aspect of your job changed since when you first started out? Whenever, people in law enforcement would deal with someone who was mentally ill, I think it's come a long way, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't want to date myself.
Right, yeah.
But when I was in uniform as a young officer, we had the state hospital was the facility when we would encounter someone that was having a mental crisis episode. And we'd talk to those people and get them, if you could tell that they needed some help, and talk them into maybe going and getting evaluated. And when I think we lost that, and I'll be wrong on the year, but I think that was when Governor Nixon was the governor. They quit taking the emergency intake for people needing evaluations, and now it's thrown into the emergency room or the hospitals, and so, or finding bed space for somebody that needs to be evaluated. Now we still do the court orders, but somebody has to put pen to paper, and sometimes people don't want to do that on a family member or a friend to get them evaluated. So that's where law enforcement ends up getting contacted.
Right.
Jeff, Farmington is growing by leaps and bounds, but St. Francis County as a whole is growing by leaps and bounds, and that leads to new challenges for the department too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Anytime there's growth, there's what we call growing pains in law enforcement. I think there's 114 counties in the state of Missouri, and 16 are Class 1 counties, and we are now a Class 1 county. So, we are growing.
Talk a little bit about, you mentioned equipment, some changes. Kind of talk specifically about maybe certain items that you would like to see if elected the Sheriff's Department really start to use.
Well, one of the things that I really think is great for law enforcement is the body-worn camera.
Yeah.
Farmington just went live with our body-worn cameras Monday at 12:01. We've been looking at that for quite some time, evaluating different companies and doing research. Because when they first came out, the knee-jerk reaction is, well, we got to get them. Well, there's things that you don't think about: storage, retention, juveniles, recording of juveniles. Sometimes in law enforcement, you have to go on calls that might have people in compromising positions where they don't want to be seen with somebody else that could cause some problems down the road. So there's all those things that we were looking at, and we went to that. I'm a nationally certified internal affairs investigator, so I love body cameras. I think that takes a lot of these maybe misunderstandings or complaints that an officer did this or did that. You watch the video, the body-worn camera or the in-car camera, and it's not there. I think you're seeing with body cameras, I think also you're seeing some of the calls that we go on, and especially the officer-involved shootings. You're seeing when that happens, a department releases that footage. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, but at least it's out there in the public and transparent, and I think that's where the body cameras come into play.
Jeff Kreitz, you're a Farmington guy. You mentioned that at the beginning, but this is a county-wide position. So what's been the reaction as you campaign in Deloge, in Bonne Terre, in Leadington, in Leadwood, and what are you doing to convince folks that you're a St. Francis County guy in this case?
Well, I've got some great response in those communities, getting a good feedback. Just because I work at Farmington doesn't mean my whole career has been in St. Francis County. I go back to the late 90s, early 2000s, where I was on the St. Francis County ICE team, which targeted methamphetamine lab production. And I was a meth lab technician where I wore the air tank and the white suits, and we went in and dismantled meth labs. Wow. So that was a sheriff's department, kind of like a task force kind of thing. I've worked with alongside the Mineral Area Drug Task Force since becoming a detective, with the methamphetamine, then the opioid, OxyContin epidemic, and now the fentanyl epidemic we have. I'm also an original member of the Mineral Area Major Case Squad, which has investigators that help out smaller agencies when they have a homicide or an adjoining county. So I've been working in the county.
Jeff, you talked a lot about personnel and manpower and things like that. That leads me into Prop P. Are you happy with the way the money from Prop P is being used?
Yes, I am. I think the Prop P money is being used for the officers' salaries and hiring of additional officers. POST is the Police Officer Standards and Training through the state of Missouri that issues new licenses for police officers. And since 2018, which is pre-COVID, they have issued, on average, about 1,100 new officers a year. So we have to retain and keep officers and recruit officers. And to make that job more attractive, I think the Prop P helped get their pay up where it needs to be. But with these new officers, that 1,100 per year, that's anything from the state down. So your conservation agents, the highway patrol, state park rangers, Kansas City Police, St. Louis Police. So it trickles down. There's just not a pool that we can draw from like we used to several years ago with all the defund the police and things of that nature. People just aren't coming out in droves to do this line of work. So we've got to keep the people. We see officers kind of like a revolving wheel. They'll go to another agency because they pay a little more.
Right.
And then they come to this agency because they pay a little more. So the Sheriff's Department's got their pay up where it's definitely competitive. I'd like to see it a little better. But, yeah, I think the Prop P is being used properly.
I want to leave on this. Voters going to the ballots on August the 6th. Why should they vote for Jeff Kreitz for sheriff?
Well, I feel that I am the best trained. I have almost 3,000 hours of police training. I've been with an agency that has trained me well and provided me with great training. I've been there 32 and a half years. I think it is time for a change. But my parents were, my dad was transferred here in like 68, I believe it was. And I've lived my whole life here. I married my wife here. We've raised 3 kids. I've been a member of this community. I've been in St. Francis County my whole career. And this is my home. I've raised my kids. My kids have come back. So I have a vested interest with my family is still here. And I've enjoyed law enforcement. I think it's been a great career. I want to continue to do law enforcement. And I want to do it. I'm proud of this community. I want to do it in this community. And I think I would do a great job as your next sheriff of St. Francis County.
Before we leave, you mentioned your wife. She's been with you every step of the way. She's been a huge supporter.
Yes, she has. My whole family, matter of fact. She's my biggest supporter, but my whole family has supported me on this endeavor, even through my law enforcement career. You know, it is harder on the families.
Sure.
Myself, I don't worry about too much, but they all worry when I walk out that door, as we do with every officer and first responder. But, yeah, I owe them a great debt of gratitude for all the support and even on this endeavor for sheriff.
Fantastic. We sure do appreciate you taking some time to speak with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Always a pleasure to see you.
All right.
And you as
Thank
well,
you, sir.
Mark. And I love doing this outside. This is great.
Yes.
Yeah. It worked out very, very well weather-wise. That's Jeff Kreitz. He's running for St. Francis County Sheriff, and he's our guest right here on the Parkland Podcast.
Hello, true Americans. It's your uncle, Uncle Sam, here to tell you about Jerry's Fireworks. Let me be clear, in this election year, the only place you need to go is Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. They're the ones that make your 4th of July party work. Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. For over 60 years, they've been the fireworks experts. Uncle Sam can't wait for Independence Day to help you save money in a major way. It's called the Pallet Deal, and it's a patriotic meal for your eyes in the sky. Some people say it's a steal. Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. They're the ones that make your 4th of July party work. Jerry's Fireworks. What? Jerry's Fireworks. Okay. For over 60 years, they've been the fireworks experts. Come see our Superstore location here in Leadington with Sea to Shining Sea selection here for everyone. Jerry's Fireworks is a bastion open day and night. We've got the largest selection at the lowest price. Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. They're the ones that make your 4th of July party work. Jerry's Fireworks. Jerry's Fireworks. For over 60 years, they've been the fireworks experts.
Welcome back to the Parkland Podcast. It's time now to preview what's going to be a very busy weekend in downtown Park Hills. We have sauces and shows, we have wings and wheels, we have rigs by the river, and we have the Firecracker Run and tons of live music. And here to tell us about it with the Park Hills Leadington Chamber of Commerce and Downtown Associations, we have Tammy Coleman and Brenda Jordan. Thanks so much for joining us on the Parkland Podcast.
Thank you for having us. Good morning.
Let's get right to it and talk about this weekend. It's going to be a 2-day event starting on Friday. Tammy, tell us what's going to happen on Friday evening.
On Friday evening, we're going to open the streets to downtown. I guess we should say close the streets and open them to the event downtown. We're going to have music on Friday night. We're going to have a beer garden on Friday night. That's when we have the side-by-side show downtown. That's the kickoff, I think, on Friday, right?
Yes, that's the kickoff. The rest of the stuff will start on Saturday.
Tell us about Saturday's lineup.
Okay. First thing is the 20th annual Firecracker Run. And this is going to be, we're going out with a bang, the last Firecracker Run.
Wow.
After 20 years, that's a whole lot of Firecracker Runs.
That is. And again, this has been a huge part of the community, and I'm sure not an easy decision to I guess put this to rest for now.
No, it really wasn't. There was actually a lot of back and forth on it, on yes, let's do, no, let's don't, yes, let's do. But ultimately, our numbers were dropping as far as registration. They would fluctuate. They would go up a little and come down a little and go up a little and come down. But since the 15th annual, the numbers just haven't been there. But the ultimate decision was volunteers. We need 50 volunteers to do this event, and we're not even halfway there yet. And the event is this Saturday. Sorry.
That's okay.
And I need help. So if anybody wants to help, let me know.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the Firecracker Run specifically. What time do volunteers as well as participants need to be there?
So this is the fun part, and this is probably why we don't have any volunteers. This is an early event. So we set up at 5:30, which we have a collection of people that do that, and I'm good there. But registration starts at 6:30, and then the run itself starts at 7:30. So most of the volunteers have to be there by about 6:30, 7 o'clock at the very, very latest for those that are helping out on the course. It's a really quick event, though. We're usually wrapped up and out of there by 11 o'clock at the very, very latest. Usually it's 10. It may go 11 this year because we do have some special things happening. We're going to wrap it up actually with fireworks this year, which we haven't done before. So Thank you, Jerry's Fireworks, for that.
Absolutely.
But we're going to have just a lot of fun things. We've got to recognize some folks. We're going to have all of the t-shirt designs from all 20 years out and on display, which is going to be really cool. We've got a giant blanket with all of those designs on it that we are giving away. So really cool. We got a lot of stuff going on that day.
Yeah, tell us about some of the other activities that will highlight Saturday.
So sauces and shows stuff. I'll turn it over and let Brenda talk for a little while.
She's the sauciest.
Oh, saucy. Yes. So the Firecracker is going to kick off the event, but then starting at 11 o'clock, we'll start with vendor registration for them to come in and get set up. At 2 o'clock is when all the fun happens. We're going to have a fire truck positioned in the municipal lot, I guess, across from Subway to cool the kids off. We have monster trucks that are going to be set up in front of the library. They are going to start setting up around 2:30. At 3 o'clock, we have the hot wing eating competition. And let me tell you, there is some of the sauces, I can't even be in the same room when they're open because my eyes start watering and my taste buds get angry. So I will not be signing up for that. But if anybody else wants to, early registration, if you sign up before Friday, then it's a little bit cheaper for you. And then we have the hot wing eating competition will start at 4 o'clock. Then we also have the Dale Mosier Auto Body Car Show that will be downtown. on the second block, like in front of Subway and the Senior Center. Dale Mosier puts on a great show down there. There's always a ton of cars down there, so you guys can come down, walk around. That starts at 5, and then they'll start judging. No, I'm sorry, they'll start judging at 5. The registration starts at 2, and then at 5:30, we will be crushing cars with monster trucks.
Oh, man. Like if you lose the car show, does a monster truck have to crush you?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know, but I'm trying to see if they'll let me be a trusty sidekick. Like, I want to crush cars.
Absolutely. That sounds amazing. Tell us about the live music that is a part of this event as well. I know a lot of cool bands are coming up, and you have, I'm pretty sure, a pretty good array of different types of music to listen to, too.
We do. Friday night from 7 to 10, we have The Outsiders. Saturday from 2 to 4, we have Gabe Corcoran. 5 to 7, we have the Bigfoot Band St. Louis. And then from 8 to 11 Saturday night, we have the Broseph Tucker Band.
Oh, they're good.
So,
absolutely.
Yes, you bring your chairs, which we will have some tables and bleachers set up, but bring your chairs. The beer garden's going to be going. It's going to be wonderful weather. Hopefully no tsunami comes in.
Or high winds.
Or high winds.
Yeah.
Or, heat.
Oh. Please, no heat.
It'll be cool. It'll be cool.
Perfect. It's going to be cool. It has to be cool.
Absolutely.
One thing that's really cool about this, the city of Park Hills has done so much over the last 2 to 3 years, especially to reinvent itself. It is such a destination place now, and this will be a good chance to really showcase all the improvements and the additions that have been made.
Absolutely. I can remember just a handful of years ago, everybody would say, there's nothing to do downtown. All the buildings are empty. It looks horrible. I hate going there. There's nothing to do. I wish it was like it was back in the 50s, whenever you would go and the streets were just lined. Guess what? Streets are lined all the time. All the buildings are full. There's something to do all the way up and down Main Street, and it just looks beautiful. There's been a lot of people, Hulseys, have a big hand and deserve a shout out for all that they've done in the businesses. And we're really excited because we've got Lulu's coming to town starting next week also.
Wow, great. Some economic development in downtown Park Hills, and all going to be showcased on Friday and Saturday night.
And we can't forget our new electronic sign that has all of the fun stuff that's going on. It's right there in town. Little Miss Tammy over here had a vision, and we all brought it to life. And we did have the landscaping and stuff done, so anytime you're driving downtown, there's this gorgeous electronic sign that has all of our events and sponsors and all kinds of stuff on it.
And that's right in between, I guess, the Y Apartments and the Ashler.
Yes.
How old are you?
How old am I? I am 48 years old.
Y Apartments?
Y
How about Ray
Apartments?
Coles?
I'm sorry. Yes, that's a lot more.
I'm over here agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, that's where it's at.
I remember going to the Y Apartments.
No, I know what they are. I'm just saying.
Tammy, you and Brenda are here representing the chamber, but you've got a pretty good board that's really supportive of you and helps put these events together too, don't you?
Absolutely. All of my directors, board of directors, and officers, they all step up whenever I need them and ask for something. They jump into gear, and they do for me. And I could not do my job without all of those folks. So 100% shout out to all of them, and thank you to all of them for their help.
Before we get to another event you have coming up in July, anything that we need to emphasize with what's happening this weekend in downtown Park Hills? Maybe something we forgot to throw out there that people might be interested in?
Not so much that we forgot anything, just a couple points to hit on. The wing contest is, we have 2 categories. It's a buffalo wing and a specialty wing. So if you have a grill and consider yourself a grill master, the registration fee is $50, but the payout is $250 for each category.
Oh, wow.
So get your team signed up. I think our registration deadline is Tuesday. So get your grill signed up, I guess.
Right.
And then the hot wing contest that we had talked about, the registration fee is $25 until the 28th, and then day of it's $35.
Okay.
So do you go to your Facebook page or website, call the chamber office to find out more between now and the weekend?
All of those things.
What's your website?
Okay, so you can find us at www.phlcoc.net. There is a Facebook page for the chamber. There's a Facebook page for Sauces and Shows, and there's a Facebook page for the Firecracker Run, so you can find us there. Call me, 431-1051, area code 573. And one more thing on the Firecracker Run.
Yes.
Last time I looked, we were at 75 pre-registered, which is
Good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
But that also means if you want a t-shirt, there's only 25 left.
Okay, only 100 t-shirts available. Lastly, wanted to talk to you real quickly about another event that the Chamber is hosting, and that's Meet the Candidates on July 18th. That is happening at Central High School. Give us the details about that.
So we've done this before. We did it for the mayor's race a couple of years ago because we feel like this is one of the races that folks are more interested in, I guess you would say.
Absolutely.
Not most. There's a lot of good things happening, a lot of big races coming up, but I know folks have got a big decision to make. So we have contacted all 4 of the candidates for sheriff, and they have all agreed to be there. We are doing this on July 18th, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. at Central High School in the auditorium. Is that right?
Is it auditorium or field house?
No, it's the auditorium.
Okay.
Yeah, the auditorium.
Yes.
Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah. They're all going to play 2-on-2 basketball, and whoever
Well,
wins.
hey,
yeah,
that would be fun.
Actually, that would be a good idea. That'll happen
very
after the
interesting.
debate.
Okay,
My money's on Crump, though.
Yeah,
that
I was
guy's
gonna
like
say,
6'10".
Yeah.
Might have to be a half court 2-on-2.
Yeah.
Might have to make it a game of horse.
Yeah, well, maybe so. But anyways, that's happening on July 18th at Central High School, and totally free to the public. And I know you have some sponsors that have helped make that event possible, I believe, too, right?
Yes. Midwest Power Sports. Want to shout out to them. Thank you very much for their help. And I also want to mention that if you have questions or concerns, we are taking those right now. It is mtcsheriff@phlcoc.net, which is our email address for that. Or you can call me and we'll get them. But submit those questions before the beginning of, I think it's the 8th of July is when we're accepting those until then. And then our committee will get together. They'll kind of narrow down the questions and pick out the best ones. And we're going to be nice. We don't want this to be a bad experience for anyone.
Absolutely.
So we want to monitor this.
Will you be the moderator?
No, Dr. Gilgore, Dr. Joe Gilgore.
Ah, Dr. J.
Yeah.
He's become the official moderator of St. Francis County, I think.
He can have that job.
Yes. And there's so much going on in June and July, and I know you have a few more sponsors you want to thank, but the events coming up in July will pretty much take the place of your investors meeting, and you won't meet again until August, right?
Correct. Yes. Everybody's on vacation too during that month, so it seems like our lunches are a little bit lower attended. So we decided just to take a break, and then we'll do this instead.
And more sponsors?
Yeah, we just wanted to mention real quick our elite sponsors for the Sauces and Shows event, which are Lee Mechanical, Lead Belt Materials, and Unico Bank. We want to especially thank those 3 because they really stepped up with some big donations to help put this event on.
Fantastic. And I know Parkland Pharmacy, Jerry's Fireworks involved in the Firecracker Run as well. Again, if you want to volunteer, help out with the Firecracker Run at Central High School Saturday morning, or if maybe you're not a morning person and you'd rather volunteer in the afternoon with all the events and shows, how do they go about doing that?
We do have opportunities, like we have the beer garden, we've got the chamber tent where you're selling the tickets and signing up the registrations and stuff, and all of that as well as on all of the websites and Facebook pages that Tammy mentioned.
Beer garden volunteers usually fill out before other kinds of volunteers, right?
They maybe do, because it's kind of a fun place to be.
Absolutely. Very cool. Ladies, anything else we need to throw out there before we let you go?
I don't think so. I just think we want to thank Tammy for all of her organizational skills with all of this, because as a board member of both the Chamber and the Downtown Park Hills Association, a lot of this stuff happens because she tells us how to make it happen. So we are definitely equally appreciative of her as she is of us.
One final point. It's in Park Hills. This is not a Park Hills event. Everybody's welcome to attend this.
Absolutely.
Come on in. Very, very
Can
cool.
I say thank you to you guys?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Please
you
do.
Thank us as many times as you can.
Well, we appreciate you doing this. I know this was a last-minute endeavor, but it was a fantastic last-minute endeavor, and I think our community really, really appreciates both of you for doing this, as do I.
That's a Facebook reel right there.
Can you
amazing.
repeat that just in case somebody missed that?
The community really, really appreciates you too.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk again, I'm sure, before the year's out. I know there's always stuff going on in downtown Park Hills and in Leadington, and I've always enjoyed talking to Tammy.
Yeah.
I didn't mention this was going to be filmed today because I thought that might make you a little nervous, so...
My husband told me in advance.
Oh, he did? Okay.
But let me tell you, they failed to mention it to me. I would have fixed my hair a little better or something.
Oh, Brenda, you are awesome.
She is indeed.
Ladies, thanks again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Park Hills Leadington Chamber of Commerce. Give them a Google, search them on Facebook, and find out about all the cool stuff they have happening in downtown Park Hills this weekend. Welcome back to the Parkland Podcast. Time to talk some sports. Hallelujah, the Ducks have won a game.
Oh, Lucy, you got some splaining to do.
Lucy's softball team, the Ducks, finally get their first victory in the Park Hills Sports Complex 8 and under softball league. Lucy not only making the final out of the game to secure that 3-1 win, had a 2-run single in the first inning to put her team ahead for good, had the game-winning RBI.
So the question of the day is, where does she get her athletic abilities from?
That's a great question. Well, I would say Hal Lowry definitely has a little bit to do with that. We got some of those genes there. He was a pretty good player from back in the day. Some of the Whaleys were pretty good ball players as well. So, that's where we'll say it definitely did not come from me.
Well, way to go, Lucy.
Yeah, absolutely. And 2 more games left this coming Thursday night, and then the softball season's done. It's a bummer because I really like this group of coaches. They're a lot of fun. North County Athletic Director Jimmy Palmer is leaving. Of course, his wife got the job with the Red Hawks at SEMO.
I think everybody assumed it was the timing that, people weren't sure of.
Yeah, absolutely. Because now everybody moving down to Cape, they can all be together, and it'll work out great. And Jimmy, thanks. I know everybody in Raider Country appreciates everything that you did while you were there. And familiar face taking over the athletic director position, that's Chris Brewer.
Known Chris a long time, a lot of experience at North County, and before that, he was the man for West County basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chris will do a great job with that. Now they just got to figure out a way to replace him as assistant principal. But,
that could be tough.
That could be tough. He was really good at that job too, but Chris will do great as an athletic director. And the St. Louis Cardinals, we record on Friday morning, so enjoying their victory last night at historic Rickman Field, and what a cool ball game. I know you said you got to watch a few innings of that.
The game was great. Brendan Donovan hit the 3-run homer in the first inning, but the pregame festivities, seeing all the players from the Negro Leagues that they brought up and recognized, that really made it special. It is honoring Willie Mays. We lost the Say Hey Kid this past week, and that's always a sad thing. Boy, you could make a pretty good baseball lineup in heaven with Stan Musial, Willie Mays, and Hank Aaron in your outfield.
Oh my gosh, that is a dream. Then I guess you have Ted Williams as your DH.
Ted Williams, how do you leave him out? Bob
Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. You got Joe DiMaggio.
We'll figure something out here.
We'll have to have 2 traveling teams. There's a lot to choose from there, but it was really a neat game last night, and I hope they do it again next year.
Very, very cool. So the Cardinals sitting at that 500 mark again at record time.
Hey, we also want to send a shout out to Chad again for letting us use the barn, the facility here. This is a beautiful place. If you ever run into Chad and say, Chad, let me take a little tour of the barn, just be prepared to stay here a while. I know the first time I came back here, I was lost and amazed by it, and that's been the response of every guest we brought in, too.
Yeah, especially when we had Tammy and Brenda in here a few moments ago. They were just in awe of this. And again, check out the Barn Network. All the podcasts right here, very diverse. If you're into toys and collectibles, or if you're into heavy metal music, they just did an interview with Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, which was really, really cool. I listened to that podcast. It's very awesome to hear Joe Exotic again.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever play any of his tunes on J98? I remember there's like a Facebook post of me asking you to do that pops up in my memory sometimes.
I think I listened to them and decided they weren't quite ready for prime time.
So check it out, Joe Exotic here on the YouTube page. Time for cool song recommendations. And this is where we give a song and an album. No really criteria that we need other than we just like them and think they're cool. Who do you have to present to us for your cool song and album recommendations?
I don't have just one song, but real quick, I'll go with three because I heard them all pretty much back to back today while we were getting ready to record the podcast. One is called Out in the Country by Three Dog Night. It's a beautiful song, folks. If you've never heard it, Google it. You will love it, I'll guarantee you. Then I heard Janis Joplin singing Me and Bobby McGee.
Yeah, always a great one.
Trivia, who wrote the song?
Oh, gosh. Was it Chris Christopherson?
Chris Christopherson. Very good. He's not just a pretty face, folks. And then, not to be outdone, my third song, not because it's a great song, but it was so much fun to hear. Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road.
Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road.
Loudon Wainwright the Third, I might add.
Very good.
Those are my songs. My album, I actually brought this in from the Toti collection. Lou Reed. Rock and Roll Animal.
Oh, get the
skinnies
are very skinny. There we go, yeah.
Lou Reed, Rock and Roll Animal. It contains the song Sweet Jane. And if you want to hear a song with a great guitar lick in it, get this, listen to the live version of Sweet Jane. You will not be disappointed, especially if you're a rock and roll fan.
That is a very cool album. I'm going to start bringing in albums when we do this for mine as well. Song-wise, I want to throw out there the quintessential rock song of all time. It has distortion. It has tempo changes. It has phaser pedals going. That is the classic from 1977, Ram Jam's Black Betty. I love that tune.
Bam-a-lam.
Have you ever seen the video to it?
I have not.
Do yourselves a favor, check out the video. It looks like it was recorded on somebody's back porch in Leadwood. I mean, it looks like a 70s rock band.
I like it. I like it a lot. Now I'm going to have to.
Yeah, check that out. And then for albums, I'm going to go with an album from the Halo Benders. It's called God Don't Make No Junk. Halo Benders was just a one kind of offshoot album with guys, I think, from Built to Spill and Beat Happening kind of teamed up together. If you like alternative guitars and kind of, weird sounding lyrics and things like that, check out God Don't Make No Junk by the Halo Benders, released in 1994.
Good stuff.
There we go. Okay, let's wrap up the podcast with a little contest that we did. Again, make sure you like and follow the Parkland Podcast on Facebook, and you can take part in some great discussions, which we asked the question, who is the most famous person from St. Francis County? And we had some great answers, Mark.
A variety of answers, too. Some kind of surprised me, and some were like eye-opening.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Dan Peak probably, if we took the ballots, got the most votes. Dan, a member of America, and he was the main writer, I know, for All the Lonely People. That was his song with America. I believe he also did some writing with some of their other hits, and then he also went on to have a very successful career in contemporary Christian music after he left the band. So he was something. He was going to be a part of the Baby Boomer concert. They were working with him, and he agreed to do it, and then passed away before we could make that happen. But how cool is that?
His brother applied for a job with us at the radio station 30 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
We did not hire him for whatever reason. Wish I would have now, but who else got votes?
Will Compton. Will Compton, of course, North County graduate football player at the University of Nebraska. Then Washington Redskins, Tennessee Titans. Who else? He played for one other team, I thought. But anyways, he is very successful doing what we do. He is a podcaster on the Barstool Sports Network. Bussin' with the Boys is the name of his podcast. And he has a question that he always asks everybody that we probably can't repeat on this show.
We'll leave that alone for now.
It's what would you give up to win a Super Bowl? But he has something a little more specific that he likes to throw in there. Let's see. We had some votes for Ferland Husky. I thought that was a good one as well. I mean, if we took this poll probably 40 years ago, he would have been the number one answer. Ferland was very big. Let's see. Somebody voted for Dan Combs. I thought that was awesome. Dan's very famous. The Dan the Pizza Man. Kevin Engler got a vote. Mark Toti got several votes. By the way,
those are all people I owe money to.
Yeah. Tudor. Those of you that know Deloge lore know about Tudor, and he got a vote. Let's see. Hoghead Holsey got a vote.
He gets the best name in the county.
Oh, absolutely. Good old Hoghead. He had a kid in the North County School District from like 1978 all the way through like 2016-ish. Literally, a child of his in the North County School District at some point. Who were some other ones? There was one I really wanted to...
the gentleman...
Herbert Asbury. He wrote Gangs of New York.
Yes.
And originally from Farmington. And you and I had no idea. Thank you, Ruth Hain, for posting that. And then we had another poster talk about how they read that in their history class at Farmington High School.
Ruth Ann Hain, I know very well. She is married to a good friend of mine, and she's a sweetheart as well. Barney Pelty, I'm surprised he didn't get a vote. Former big league baseball player from Farmington.
He got a maybe vote from Steve Warren.
Okay. Hello, Steve. Good to always have you and Ursula listening to the podcast. And Mr. Tiffenauer.
Yeah, Pete Tiffenauer, the knuckleballer from Deloge. I know Rob Baker brought him up.
I interviewed him back in the day. One of the classiest guys I ever met.
Yeah.
And if he didn't pitch for the New York Yankees, he probably would have had even a bigger career in baseball. But with the Yankees in the 50s, they had so many good players on their team. Boy, just to make it to the big leagues, you were something.
Absolutely. Glenn Van Herk, I thought was a great answer as well.
Yeah.
Is he still the number one guy in the
NATO?
In NATO?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, even bigger. So wow, that is fantastic. If you want to go way back, Sam Hildebrand, famous outlaw from St. Francis County, might be getting some votes. We also threw in Natalie Sago, as we talked about earlier.
Well deserved.
NBA official. Kyle Richardson, Super Bowl champion.
Interviewed him a couple of times. He's a heck of a good guy too.
One of the times I remember interviewing him, I asked him about Ray Lewis, and Ray Lewis was standing right in front of him. So that was kind of because, he's standing right here. You want me to hand the phone to him? Yes. Oh, sorry, he's busy. Who else? John Cozine. Which, especially when it comes to the historyness, and we're going to have him on the show, I think, at some point too.
He's awesome.
He is. Tommy Worley, race fans really like Tommy.
I know Tommy.
And he's a big deal. Julie Berghaus got a vote.
Hey, Julie.
Happy birthday to Julie. And Roy Henson, which I thought was a good selection too.
Roy Henson's a heck of a guy. I saw Mike Ramsey. Is that Mike Ramsey?
Mike Ramsey got a vote too.
He's been in the media longer than you or I.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was working at J98 before I was, I believe.
Oh, my gosh. So here's what we're going to do. Everybody that put a comment in, we're going to give you this random wheel generator. I love doing this with my students, especially when we do group projects, and I got to assign students, and, I'm sorry, you don't like blah, 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 because they said something to your boyfriend, but the wheel never lies. So let's see who our winner is. We got to click to spin. right, bam, there we go. Okay. I don't know if you can see this on the podcast or not, those of you watching on YouTube, but the wheel's going around. The winner's going to get one of these skinny syrups from Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy, and our winner is Robin Boda. Congratulations, Robin. You get your choice of one of these skinny syrups from Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy, and coming up next week, we're going to give away one of these warmies, not just a stuffed animal. You put this guy in the microwave, it gets nice and warm. You put him in your freezer, it gets nice and cold, and you can snuggle with it.
You can use it year-round.
There you go. So congratulations, Robin Boda. And again, keep an eye on our Facebook page for lots of ways for you to win. Coming up on the next episode, which will drop on June the 24th. Is that right? That's not right. Coming up on our next episode, we will have Jason Crump. He is our next candidate for the St. Francis County Sheriff that we will interview, and then we'll visit with Tim Harris as well, our fourth and final St. Francis County Sheriff candidate that will feature on the Parkland podcast. Anything else we need to throw out there before we call it a week, sir?
Just looking forward to seeing everybody out and about at the St. Joe Picnic or in Park Hills for the sauces and shows. And everybody else, if you have a suggestion for us, please let us know. We are open to suggestions.
Let us know those birthdays, those anniversaries, news tips, sports tips, hair care tips, whatever you want to send us.
And if your business wants to advertise with us, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, that'll do it for this week's edition of the Parkland Podcast. Have a great week.